Today on In the Woodyard, we've got another delivery to do. It's time to start chucking wood. It's a beautiful day once again this fall. The orders have been coming in pretty much every day. I get 1 or 2 calls every day now, which is the delivery season. This order I'm doing today is for a longtime customer. It's a widower. She gets usually 2 face cords every year. This year she said she wants 1.5. So she wants a half a full cord because she said she's gonna be gone for a month during the winter down south. So she had a little bit less wood. She said she loves the wood, and this is the kind of stuff that I deliver to her. This size right here, hand size stuff. She says, your wood size is absolutely wonderful. She's an Irish lady, so she's got a real sweet accent. She says, it's just splendid size. She says, I can pick it up no problem. She said, you know, years ago I had big chunks that I couldn't even lift. So she has it for a fireplace. She wants this size wood. One of the things that I mentioned on a video a few days ago was stacking of wood. And this is a customer I will be stacking the wood for. I stack for, if I had to add it up in a year's time, maybe a dozen, 15 people that I stack the wood for. They all pay me. I have 2, I think, that I stack because the original customers of mine that I've had for like 15 years, and they stack with me, and usually it's a face cord or 2 face cords. And I back right up to the rack, and we just unload it right off into their rack. It's not that big a deal. But there are people that will tell me right up front, I don't want to have to stack the wood. Will you stack it for me? How much do you charge? Now, I used to charge $20 per face cord or per third of a cord. So a full cord was $60. I raised my price to $30. And the reason I did that is because I don't really want to do it. And if I'm going to do it, I want to be paid better for it. I can stack a face cord or third of a cord in about 20 minutes. 15, 20 minutes is about all it takes. Now, if I have the baby dumper, the little dump trailer, and I can back right up to the pile. I did a video yesterday, I think it was yesterday like that, where I backed up to the pile, tipped up the trailer, and I stacked right into a rack. 15 minutes is all it takes. Now, if I have to walk any distance, and that's what I didn't bring up the other day, I was just talking about stacking and how I charge for it. If I have to walk any distance, or have to wheelbarrow it, or cart it, take it, you know, around the house, that kind of stuff, I just charge more, quite a bit more, because I don't want to do that at all. It takes a lot of time, but there are people who are willing to pay for it. For instance, I've got one customer that I stack the wood. I can drive into the driveway. I back up as close as I can get to the corner of the garage. I have to put the wood in a wheelbarrow. I have to go around the back of the garage, around his deck to the back, and then put it in a rack. So if I had to guess distance-wise, it's probably 40 yards, something like that, that I have to go around. Yeah, probably about 40 yards. Put it in a rack and then cover it back up. And that's one face cord he gets, or a third of a cord at a time. It's all he ever gets. And to do that, I charge him $60 because it does take me about a half an hour to do that. And that's just what I charge. And he doesn't care. He just wants it done. Some of the people that I deliver to, I shouldn't say some, a lot of the people I deliver to, the reason they're buying wood from me is they don't have chainsaws. They don't have trucks. They don't have the talent, ability, or knowledge to cut their own wood. So I deliver it to them, stack it for them, get it to them, and that's what they want. They want to be able to come home at the end of the day, start a fire, sit down, and relax. They don't want more work. They're paying me to do the work. And a lot of you don't realize that people are willing to pay for services. They just are. There are a lot of people that want to be taken care of. They're willing to pay for it, and they have the money to do it. And if you're not charging for it appropriately, you're cutting yourself short. They will pay. Some people don't want to pay. Some people have kids. I have one guy in particular I deliver to. I deliver him 2 full loads in my big trailer. So it's 4 face cords or full cord and a third per load. He always gets 8. I deliver to him every year. And I deliver the first one usually it's like 3, 4 o'clock when his 3 boys, they're all teenagers, are home from school. He never touches the wood. He just points and tells them what to do. And they take it from the driveway where I dump it around to the back of the house and stack it in the back. And then I come back, load up another load. By the time I get back, they've got the whole first load moved and stacked. And so it's a good deal for him, good deal for me. So yeah, it's just pretty cool. He told me the boys need to get some exercise and they have to pay some rent because they eat a lot. That's what he tells me. So this is going to be wood that I'm going to load up, and I'm going to stack it in her garage later today. And this is one where I can get very, very close to the rack. I have to take like 4 or 5 steps from one end of the garage to the front end, right where I can get the trailer. And it's kind of a weird, kind of a horseshoe shaped driveway, so it's kind of hard to get in there. So I'm going to charge her $60 to stack it because it's a face cord and a half, and I do have to do some carrying, and she's perfectly fine with it. She says, you just let me know. She said, I like your wood. I'll pay whatever your price is. I had a guy delivered to 2 days ago, and he said his secretary was talking to him because I had talked to her first about setting up the appointment to deliver the wood. And she says, well, how much do you pay him for that wood? He says, well, I think it's like $120 for the wood, and then I pay him to stack it. It's like $40. She said, so $160 just for some wood? He says, hey, I don't have chainsaws. I don't have land. He said, Chris provides me very good, dry, ready to burn wood that is awesome, and he takes care of me. And he said, I don't have to even question, you know, the quality of the wood or the quality of his work, and I know he's going to take care of it and put the wood where I want it. And she said, oh, she says, well, I didn't realize that he did all that. So a lot of people don't know, you know, how much work goes into firewood. Unless you've made firewood, you don't know. I have a friend that cut a tree down in his yard with a bow saw. It was a spruce tree that was maybe like about a 12-incher. I told him, I said, hey, I got chainsaws. I can come over and I can cut it down for you, and I can even cut it up, and then you can take care of it. From there, he says, well, me and my son need a weekend project. One of these weekends we're going to do it. So we just let me know. I'll come over and I'll cut it down. Well, I talked to him about 2 weeks ago, and he said, yeah, we cut that tree down. We had 2 bow saws. He said it took us all day. So they cut the tree down. It was in their front yard. They just tipped it over, and then they cut all the branches off, and they hauled those to the landfill, and then they cut up all of the chunks of wood for firewood for themselves. And I saw they had it all stacked in his front yard. And I said, you know, I could have done that like in an hour. He says, no, it was a good father-son bonding day. He said it was good for him to do some work because he's a computer kid and he never gets outside. So that was his reasoning for doing it. So, all right, we're going to chuck some wood right now. There it is. The wood is in the baby dumper. Now, one of the things that is a benefit of having the wood stacked loose like this, or piled I should say, and not in a stack, is if I was to have this in a stack, she would have to get everything that was in that stack because it was would be a measured stack. But I have a measuring cup here. This trailer, I know how much it holds. If I was to fill this full with a crest to it, it's 2 face cords or 2/3 of a cord. If I go just to the bottom of this wood right here, it is a face cord or 1/3 of a cord. So I just put extra on. When I think I've got enough, I throw some more on. A few extra pieces aren't going to hurt me at all. They're happy, and I know that I got the right amount because I've done this literally thousands of times. So I don't need to stack wood anymore. For those of you that are wondering why I'm just taking loose and throwing it in. Now, what I was going to say is that one of the benefits of having loose stacks like this, I was able to hand pick these pieces. So I purposely went through here and pulled out all the smaller stuff for her. I left the bigger chunks, you know, stuff that was bigger and heavier like this. The bigger, heavier chunks like this I left. So I kind of picked through, and I pretty much have, if you look in here, I'll show you some stuff that's this size, this size, this size. So I hand picked this for her specifically now, and that's okay because I will have people that will say, hey, can I have some little bigger stuff? So I'll pull that out and I can pull bigger stuff. So it works really well, and it's not that hard to dig through here. Loading this right here took, I don't know, 12 minutes, something like that. You just stand and just chuck it over your shoulder. When I've got it in these bins like this, I can just reach right in. I can go around, cream it all off. And then once I get down to the bottom, I can go stand in here and you create kind of a wall, and I can just pull it off without having to bend over at all. So it works out pretty good to just grab it that way. So when I get there, I will be stacking it for her. And for those of you that don't believe me, I'll show you when I stack this later today. I'll show you how much there is. I'll even measure it for you. I did this last year, I think, when I delivered her 2 face cords. It ended up being 2 face cords or 2/3 of a cord. And then there was probably about 6 inches across like a 10-foot span where I put the wood that was extra. And I'm fine with that. I don't care. They're happy, I'm happy. Quite often I will get there and I'll tell the person that there might be some extra wood. Is that okay? And they're always like, well, do I have to pay for it? Like, no, I'm going to give you some extra wood if that's okay. So it might not fit in your rack. Because if they've got a 4-foot high rack that's 8 feet wide that holds a face cord or 1/3 of a cord, it'll have a big crest to it, or I'll have to do a second roll if it's an enclosed area that I can only get so much in. I'll just tell them, yeah, there's just extra stuff here. If that's fine with you, I'll just leave it. Otherwise, I can haul it away. And they're like, no, 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 I'll take it. So people like extra stuff. Kind of like when you go out to the restaurant and they bring you extra rolls or extra chips or whatever it is they're giving away for free to get you to come in, and so you can sit there. And of course, everybody likes extra stuff. It's just the way it works. So now we're gonna put the cover on this thing. And like I said, when I get there, I will be backing in as close as I can get to the wood pile where I'm gonna stack it. It's along the edge of her garage. And I usually only have to take a step or two to get to where it's gonna be put. Oh, I gotta bring you guys down here this way. I've got some chunks I threw out here to show you some different kinds of wood that went in here. I forgot that part. I kind of just threw it on the ground back there. So we'll bring you guys back and you can take a look at this stuff. I'll put it up on the trailer. As you can see, there's a lot of ash in here. For those of you that know, that's ash. That's emerald ash bark marks there. This is ash bark. You can see that. There was a lot of maple in here. I see there's a bunch of maple right here. There was a little bit of birch. There was some apple wood, and I saw a bunch of locusts in here too. Honey locust to be exact. So right here is a piece of birch. You can see that is birch. I'll put that in. This one right here is a piece. If you look at it this way, you would say, what in the world is it? But I can look at the grain of it and I can see that is soft maple. So soft maple, or silver maple, some people call it. Right here's a piece of apple wood. I can see by the bark. There is some apple wood in there. Not a lot. I only saw a few pieces. This one right here, also a piece of maple, which, like I said, there was a lot of those. Another piece of maple. Here's the different bark from soft maple, silver maple. And here's a piece of honey locust right here. That's what the bark looks like. It's kind of a honey color on the inside. And then there was about, I don't know, maybe half a dozen or so of this. And this is cherry. There was a bunch of cherry in there that I saw. Here's another piece right here. So some cherry was in there. And now we're gonna put the net on the top, and we're going to tighten it up and we can go down the road. I do have to go on the interstate for just a little ways for this. So I always like to use the covering just to make sure nothing flies out and kills people, because I'm kind of against killing people. That's not a good thing, especially people that I don't even know. I mean, I guess if it was somebody that I knew and was causing my family harm, I would have no problem taking them out. But other than that, no. I'm not really a killer kind of guy. So we're gonna go do a delivery right now. Okay, so I just measured. Right there is 12 feet all the way down, and I'll show you the 4 foot. Tape measures on the ground. My thumb is 4 feet. So it's all just a little bit over. That was by guessing how much to put in. So I'm a pretty good guesser, I guess. That's all I got for today, folks. See you tomorrow morning, 5:30 a.m. Good night, everyone.